So, which came first, Telephone Line or Cisco Kid?
Telephone Line came first. We've been around for about 5 years, and I think Cisco Kid as a band has been around for a few years, but I wasn't in it until this year. Mm-hmm. And I haven't done any shows with them yet, so Deutschtown is going to be the debut of me fronting Cisco Kid.
So you're the front woman for both bands?
Yes. Telephone Line is more my band, my baby, and I do writing for Telephone Line. The guys in Cisco Kid do more of the writing there. I mean, obviously I inform the melody and the lyrics and, you know, those kinds of things. They do take my input as a band member, but they're the ones who really are writing the core of the songs and bringing them to the group.
So, describe the style of each band.
The Telephone Line is sort of, they're both rock bands. The Telephone Line is sort of pop soul leaning. Mm-hmm. And I guess I would say Cisco Kid is sort of classic rock and a little bit of gospel in there maybe.
Okay. And how'd you hook up with those guys?
Actually, I think, I could be wrong, but a couple of the guys from the band had seen me performing at one of Randy Bauman's Rambles, and then looked up my band and found the Telephone Line and asked the Telephone Line to play their album release at Mr. Small's Funhouse. Mm-hmm. And we really hit it off. The two bands got along really great, and our sounds went really well together. And I became friends with the guys in the band, and they're really great guys too. They're not just talented musicians, but they're also just really awesome dudes. And we hit it off, and then their singer from before, Nick, super talented guy, had another project that was taking priority, and they parted ways, and it was all amicable. But they parted ways, and they asked me to step up for lead vocals.
Sweet. Is it all new material, or are you doing some of their old stuff?
We are doing some of their old stuff, yeah. And their album, Beautiful Day to Die, is fantastic. You should check it out. So we're going to do a few tunes from that, and then some new stuff when we debut on July 14th at Deutschtown.
Sweet. What stages are you playing at Deutschtown?
So Cisco Kid is in what used to be James Street, up in the ballroom around, I think, 2 or 3 p.m. And the Telephone Line is on the main stage. I'm really excited about that. Mm-hmm. 8 p.m. on Saturday the 14th. So we're really pumped to be on the main stage this year, and the time slot they gave us is really great. We're gonna make the most of it.
Nice. And you were just on the Three Rivers Arts Festival stage, main stage.
Yeah. It's the summer of main stages. I'm just kidding. Those are the only two.
Well, that's plural.
Yeah. But Traff was really great. We were honored to play that. I mean, obviously, I've loved Three Rivers Arts Festival since I was, but a youth. And it was kind of a thrill to play the main stage there with my band. It was awesome. We had a couple backup singers join us, and they were great.
Awesome. And you mentioned backup singers. You do a lot of backup vocals yourself.
I do. I love to sing backup vocals. I wouldn't be happy just singing backup vocals, because I do like that front woman to come out in me. But I love singing backup with my friends on various projects. If they're having like a release show, if they're recording, I just love singing backup. There's something about that act of harmonizing and supporting the song sort of from underneath instead of being the lead. So anytime that I get asked if I'm free, I'll jump right on it.
So one example is you mentioned the Ramble, Randy Bauman's Ramble, which you've done several years now, right?
A couple of years, yeah.
Okay. So, and that's usually backing vocals, right? Or
Typically what happens is they'll bring in a bunch of musicians, and everyone will get like 1 or 2 lead songs where they sing the lead. And they have kind of house band, and they'll sort of rotate those a little bit. But for the last year or two, I've been sort of organizing the backup vocals for that, in addition to doing my solos.
Nice. And so that's sort of like, it's organized as like the cream of the crop of the Pittsburgh music scene usually. Like, it's a lot
Local
of like top billed people. So I mean, like, I guess how's that feel? What's your interpretation of sort of being in that, like, now that pantheon of Pittsburgh rock royalty?
Royalty. I mean, it's very flattering to have it put that way. I think, it's fun. it's an honor. It's really, you know, I mean, it certainly has helped bring my band to the forefront and, you know, gotten us more fans and more gigs and, you know, overall it's exciting and it's really fun and I would say fulfilling, really. I mean, you get to hang out with a bunch of people you like and make music. You know, you rehearse the week before and then you get to like perform all these songs that everybody loves and you know, songs that maybe you have wanted to do live for a long time, never got a chance to, and it's exciting. It's awesome.
Would you say like the cross-section of artists featured in big events like that, or like, for example, Pittsburgh Plays Petty, like those, would you say that when just a layman in the audience comes to see these shows, they're getting a good taste of the Pittsburgh music scene? Like, is it pretty representative?
I'm not sure I would say they're getting a taste of the music scene. I would say they're getting a taste of the musicians. And to Randy's credit, like he's so supportive of local music and local musicians, and he'll always like, you know, say like, this is this person's band, make sure you check it out, and you know, he'll support local musicians at their own release shows and stuff. So he does bring in those local musicians and sometimes have them do their own original tunes at the Rambles. But for the most part, it's covers. And when you have a cover show, you're not really getting a taste for the local music. You're getting a taste for the musicians, right? Which is great. But to really get a taste of the music scene, you have to go to local shows where the bands are doing their own original music, in my opinion.
And that's sort of where these festivals come in, like Deutschtown or you know, at Rant or Millville Music Festival. So like, and that's sort of like a service that Deutschtown would provide, like that people can come see these bands for free and really check out the scene.
Yeah, and they do try to pay the bands, you know, I mean, it depends on how things go, but they do believe in that, you know, so that's a really important thing, I think, for a lot of people. And if you submit for a festival like this, you know what you're getting into. You might not get paid. You know, they're very upfront about it. And, you know, there are lots of politics around that happening in Pittsburgh right now, which I think is great. That's such an important discussion to be able to pay your artists. But, yeah, I think the primary focus, even if it's not to necessarily be able to pay all those musicians what they deserve, is to showcase them and bring people out who otherwise wouldn't be able to see them, you know, because they provide... This festival isn't just music, you know, they've got activities for kids and it's for the whole family, really. So, and I know Cody Walters, one of the organizers, that was really important to him this year to say, what can we do to really get more families to come out, not just parents or young people who want to hear music. So it's a great way to showcase the bands, but also just kind of bring together the community.
What are your thoughts on the Pittsburgh music scene?
Oh, yeah, no, okay. I have zero thoughts in my head. I'm just kidding. I have a lot of thoughts about it, actually. I'm a person with anxiety, so, you know, I have a lot of thoughts floating around in my head all the time. But, you know, I guess the big thing for me is trying to balance the desire to have that sort of creative aspect and passionate aspect to music and balance the business side of it. You know, I'm someone who has a day job that, you know, pays me well enough. And really, it's not just a job, it's a career. So music isn't something that I'm doing for a living. And so while I want to get paid, and I believe that as a musician and artist I deserve to get paid, it's not as urgent for me to get paid as it is for someone who's trying to do this for a living. So there has to be a way to balance, you know, all those different aspects of, you know, it's, you know, this creative force, but it's also work. It's actual valid work that people should be paid for. And so I think that's what I've been thinking about the most with this recently. And, you know, we've had a lot of sort of discussion groups and forums around that topic. And I think it's really important for people to be able to talk about that kind of thing and, you know, be able to get paid for their craft and for their work. So that's probably the hottest topic right now in town as far as like Pittsburgh music scene, and also sort of in my brain. And I've gone to some of the Fair Play sessions, and there's the Pittsburgh music ecosystem, I think is what they're calling it. And, you know, just lots of discussions happening around that, and I think that hopefully I would like to see progress with that in some way, shape, or form, but who knows right now what's going to happen with it.
In wrapping up, if you just want to tell us about any upcoming projects or anything you want to plug.
Sure. So obviously Deutschtown is happening on July 13th and 14th. And I'll be there with both of my bands, Cisco Kid and Telephone Line. Cisco Kid's like 2-3 p.m. on Saturday, and the Telephone Line is on the main stage at 8 p.m. Otherwise, the Telephone Line has a gig coming up in August. Our bassist is pregnant, so it's going to be getting to the point where we go on a little bit of a hiatus from performing live. We're going to try to focus on writing and recording at that time. But Cisco Kid is going to be gigging through August, September. I think we might even have a date or two in October now. So you can be friends with us on Facebook and follow us online. Same with the Telephone Line to see where we're going to be popping up next. I think I might be jumping on some backup vocals with the Buckle Downs on Friday at Deutschtown. And I think they're around 8 or 9 o'clock, so check them out. Kiki is one of my dear, dear music friends. We love to sing together. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else really coming up. There are 2 tributes coming up that I'm going to be singing for. One is on July 21st. And that is a Neil Young tribute, and I think they're calling it Harvest. Mm-hmm. They're not just calling it Neil Young tribute. And that's Andre Costello's putting that on. Mm-hmm. And then there is a Motown tribute night that's going to be on July 27th.
Any music for sale? Anything you want people to merch up?
Yeah, yes, actually, the Telephone Line. You can get our debut album and our single online, and we also have physical copies of our debut album now, which is really exciting, so you can come get that at our shows. We also just got t-shirts for the first time, so you can come get those. You can find us at telephonelineband.com. We have a Bandcamp. We're on iTunes, Amazon, Spotify, all that great stuff. And Cisco Kid also is on Spotify and anywhere you can get your music online. And you can also just find me, Addi Twigg, at additwigg.com, and all my various projects there as well. So I'm Addi Twigg from the Telephone Line, and Mr. Bones knows me.